Hello everybody, my name's Ryan and I'm a driving instructor, and today, black box! So black boxes, not that one. Oh, black boxes, telematics, things that monitor your driving as part of an insurance policy. If you like what I'm doing though, like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe now, it's free, why not? I used to work for quite a big insurance company quite a long time ago, and they introduced a new product that was starting. It was about, I don't know, probably about 8 or 9 years ago now. The company isn't functioning anymore. Basically, it was a company that was the name of a product that then used the same underwriting team as used to do all the regular policies. Now, they called this insurance Drive by this specific company, and it was all about telematics and what black boxes are. So you might be wondering, why have one? Well, most of the time it's if you're under the age of 25 really. They can save you a lot of money on insurance, sometimes as much as 40%. So what is it? Well, it's a little box that sits somewhere on your car. Originally they used to hardwire them into cars, and they used to connect them directly to the battery inside this little box, which at that time was huge. It was quite a long time ago. It had a GPS receiver, so a sat-nav receiver, and it used to upload every 8 or 9 seconds, I think it was, data such as, are you travelling too fast? Are you cornering too fast? Are you in the right place? Are you parking the car where you say you're parking the car? Things like this. And it used to upload, and if it lost connection for anything more than 48 hours, it used to alert people that you'd lost this connection. It doesn't quite work like that anymore because it's not hardwired, and it's just a tiny little box that you chuck somewhere in the car. That little box talks to your phone that then interrogates an app. And the app, depending on which company you go for, will tell you all about your driving style. Whether you've been too fast or too slow, or whether you've been driving correctly, or whether you've been cornering too hard. It gives you data on how your driving habits are. And as a result of that, what it really is doing, it's providing the insurance company with information on what sort of discount you can get in your second or third or fourth or fifth years of driving, so that not only do you get your no claims discount providing you haven't had an accident, then you also get a decreased premium as a result, just by this little tiny box. Now you might be wondering, how do they use all this data? Well, they don't really. It's just for you and the insurance company. Nobody else looks at it. So if you've been speeding, they're not going to send that information to the police. But what they will do, they give kind of 3 or 4 strikes. So if you've been doing like 40 and a 30, then they'll send you a letter, or they'll send you an alert on the app. You've been going too fast. You need to watch your driving habits. You need to watch your driving style. And if you exceed 100, then you can get investigated by the insurance company. The insurance company can then void your policy, and you kind of definitely don't want a voided policy, because then that would show up when you go and put claims in, or when you go to get an insurance policy elsewhere. So you definitely don't want to lie about things like that. So just drive the car normally, like you were told by your instructor. On the one that we dealt with, sometimes they give you like a free Costa up to a £5. I don't know how long that lasted actually, because I kind of left the insurance company before they formulated it, but I did get to see quite a bit of the data, and it was really quite interesting. There was one case of one guy who'd done over 100, and we investigated it, and they found out that the black box that had been connected to his 1.2 Punto had been swapped onto a BMW, because he bought a new car and he forgot to tell the insurance company, and he was doing 100. The investigator actually was quite lenient with it. They didn't initially cancel his policy. They kind of investigated and found out, and the underwriter wanted to know what was going on. So the people behind this policy, an underwriter is the backer of that policy. They're the one that provide the money, and if you were to make a claim, they would be the one dealing with that claim. A lot of people said at the time, can my parents access this? Well, with the app, yes, they can, providing you give them access. Do you kind of want them to know where you are? Are you just at college, or are you just going to school, or the doctors, or the hospital, or going to work, or something like that? Do you really want them to know every in and out of your life? Do you feel like it's a bit of an intrusion? You do have the ability to do that, and sometimes it's a great idea, but also some people are quite private and they probably might not want that. And I think that's a personal thing, whether you want your parents to monitor your driving, really. What you shouldn't do there is do any fronting. So fronting is where the main driver is not you. It might be your parent, and the parent isn't driving the car all the time, you are. It can affect not just the price of your policy, but it can also affect any claim. So if they investigate and find out that you were the regular driver, they can actually cancel that claim. They can actually do a lot more than that as well. Also, if you're not the main driver named on that policy, you won't build up any no claims discount. So it's kind of a bit pointless. Also, telematics policies or black box policies are not really all that suitable for people that are over the age of 35. They kind of don't get that much discount. It's mainly aimed at people under the age of 28-ish. And even if you do, you can find that you do a quote even when you're 50 and you've got a black box policy there for 20 quid cheaper. It's not really worth it for the older driver if they're only paying, say, £400 insurance every year. It's not really designed for them. It's designed for younger people who are just starting out. They also can get a bonus accelerator, and I've seen this before, where instead of getting like 12 months no claims discount for not making a claim over that year, sometimes you can get an accelerator where you do 10 months of driving and effectively get 1 full year of no claims discount. I've seen that too on those telematics and those policies. Some telematics policies, the drawbacks, apart from being monitored, is they can set curfews. They can stop you driving after 11. They might not give you an extra discount at renewal time if you've been driving between, say, 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. If you've got a job, then you should kind of tell them that you've got that I start work at 5 o'clock thing. Also, if you're out with your mates later on and you're showing off, that will also show up on those telematics and black box results on your app, and it'll show up. And also, there's other limits such as mileage. You may find that if you declare that you're doing 7,000 miles a year, and at the end of the policy they work out that in the app you've done 20,000 miles in 1 year, they may also not offer that full discount. They may not even offer you 1 year's no claims discount. They might just say, well, no, you've invalidated your own policy, therefore we're not giving you that 1 year no claims discount. You've got to guess really at what you would be doing, and there's plenty of calculators online to guess how much mileage you'll be doing in a year. With restrictions, also be careful that if you have a named driver on your policy and they're driving your car, that their drive, because their drive will count towards your score, that they're not speeding everywhere. You can get your insurance policy cancelled for somebody else speeding. Even if you plead it wasn't you, they will still cancel it because it's your policy. That also goes for mileage limits. They don't know who's driving the car. They will never know who's driving the car. So yeah, you've got to be honest with them, and sometimes don't let that other person drive the car if you think they're going to speed everywhere. They can effectively get your policy cancelled for you. Is black box or telematics for you? Yeah, probably. If you're under 28 and want, you're a new driver and you want that policy, it's probably a really great idea. Probably a really good idea to get a telematics or a black box policy. It can be really useful for monitoring your driving when you're first starting. The actual app itself can be really useful to say, oh, well, that corner you took it too fast. So next time you drive it, you might just drive that corner a little bit cooler and a little bit neater and be a bit more easy with yourself. You might not drive in a rage as much. The app's very good for that. It does a reward process, most of them. So it kind of says, oh, you've done this very good, we'll give you more credit. it is a very useful thing to have. So some myths. Do we need an engineer to come out? Absolutely not. No, it's done on an app. Most of them are done on apps, little tiny boxes, not connected to the battery like back in the good old days. Yeah, so there's a little app. I used to buy cars actually, thinking about it, and they used to have the old black boxes still left there because they were deactivated. Yeah, things like that. Will the data be shared? No, it's only shared between you and your insurance company. That's it. It's not shared with the police. So if you're speeding, they're not going to share it with the police. They'll just send you a letter saying we're invalidating your policy, especially on certain speeding cases. Does the black box listen to your conversation? No, not at all. It definitely does not listen to anything. In fact, your mobile phone probably listens to you more than anything else. The black box doesn't share personal data. It only shares driving habits or the way that you're handling the car. If I drive aggressively all the time, will it affect? Oh no, not really. It just tells you to drive calmer. If you're doing it all the time, you might want to consider your own driving habits, and the app's there to tell you all of that information, why you are doing it and what am I doing, why am I driving too fast, what's forcing me to do that. It's not going to do that specifically. It's not going to make your insurance massively jump. It just won't offer you an increased discount at renewal. You'll just get 1 year no claims discount instead of getting one and a bit, if you see what I mean. Do people with black boxes pay more for insurance? No, you don't. You've got to remember though that I'm auto. If you have an automatic license, it can cost you more on insurance than what a manual license can. An automatic car can cost more to insure than a manual car. A battery car, before anybody starts, a battery car definitely 100% costs more than any other type of car. EV will cost you 25 to 30% more than a standard petrol car. We know this is a fact. And sometimes some electric cars can't be insured. For example, Teslas, young people can't insure them. Certainly in my postcode area, people that are 18 or under, so 17-year-olds who can drive on the road, can't get insurance on Vauxhall Corsa E's or 208Es just because of the insurance group rating's too high. When you get to about 2021, you can insure those cars, no problem, stick the black box in, still acts the same, still does the same thing. You'll probably find actually with EVs, they do cost more overall to insure because the claims are higher. So that's all about black box. Few edits in there because I'm kind of following information that the DVSA gave me. Plus, I've got other information from other sources such as Adrian Flux. I insure with Adrian Flux. It's not an advert for them. There's lots of places where I've got this data, and it's from experience. Plenty of cases where people have exceeded the speed limit significantly and had the policy cancelled. You've been monitored at the end of the day, where they are not parking the car at the place where they said they would, and it's flagged up that they're parking the car 10 streets away or maybe a mile away. That becomes really obvious. Be careful with your mileage limits and what time you drive. Always check these policies before you buy them. Always check the details. If you liked what you saw today, why not like and comment? Maybe you've got your own story about black boxes or telematics insurance policies. I know everybody has. And this story about somebody doing this or that, tell us, put it in the comments. Subscribe and like the video. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye. Can comment. Maybe you've got your own story about Maybe you've got your own story about black boxes, if I can say it properly. Just one more thing. EVs, they've got built-in autopilots and they've got built-in systems where they can self-drive. How do we not already know that those cars, black box or not, are already being monitored? I've already said on a previous video that speeding and people speeding is endemic. So what's to say that in the future somebody just doesn't switch on a function that has a permanent speed limiter? Maybe that is part of black box technology, and that's kind of telematics technology. It might not be the government controlling it, but it might be your insurer that controls it on a long-term basis. Just a thought.